you give us the introduction about the binational PhD? It's just like about the vision, the objective, and the purpose of this program.
Yeah, so why we are here together, we work already 10 years with the IT faculty and FernUniversität in Hagen together. It took a long time to convince both our universities that we may have a together PhD program and a binational PhD. And I happily can announce that on October 25th, on October 25th in this year at a conference, which is at the same time a big PhD seminar for PhD students of several universities, the signed extension of the Memorandum of Understanding between King Mongkut and FernUniversität could be exchanged, and that extension described the procedure and the possibility to educate binational PhD students together. So, and why we are here today is it's not only enough to have a contract and agree on the procedure. A PhD program is nothing without students, and so we thought we have to make and set up this meeting today and inform the possible candidates which are just starting a PhD study here in the faculty or are already for several months or years in the PhD, in their PhD study, what's to do to obtain a binational degree. And maybe you have realized already that we also start immediately after signing some announcement that students may come to us, get information, what's to do to get in that program enrolled. You may have realized that the presence of FernUniversität in your faculty become a little bit stronger. And of course, in that thing, we are also closely working together with the DAAD Information Center here in Bangkok. Georg just spoke to you, and he started already one day after the respective contracts has signed to advertise our program and bring the advantages close to you as students. And about that I will speak here a little bit in my talk, why we did that, what we expect from them, what you have to do to be successful. So, of course, from the point of faculties, there's a vision why we do that. Of course, the faculties want to gain reputation. Of course, we see that our PhD students are our ambassadors in the industry, announcing where they come from, what scientific performance, what scientific education is offered to them during their PhD. So, of course, you have to formulate something like a vision. We tried to put it in that slide: educate students and graduate PhD, which belong to the 10% best and 10% most wanted ones in Thailand. So what does it mean? And here you can start comparing a little bit the state of the art now and where we want to go in future with you. What we need are graduate students with a high theoretical and practical knowledge, not measured on Thai standards, but science is an international business. We have an international science community, and the internet brought all scientists from all worlds close together like in the village. So that means not only that you have to measure with the worldwide standards, but you also have to work and get experience in the collaboration with international communities which are working in quite close fields to each other on different locations all over the world. So that means we have to develop the right hard and soft skills in our PhD students for doing so. And not only our vision, but the true reality is we want to do the binational PhD program with you without loading additional costs on your shoulder. We know you have to pay in Thailand for the PhD study. Ajahn Pajung will later tell a little bit about that. But for us, the vision is when we do the binational PhD program, then for no additional costs. So what are the current problems we want to improve a little bit in the future? I have been a member in a lot of PhD commissions and qualifying examinations, not only in Germany but also here in Bangkok. And Pajung and me experienced one fact: with 2 killer questions we could make most candidates sweat. When we ask you what is a scientific merit, the novelty in your PhD thesis, then most candidates become quiet or told us any facts which are long time very known in the community, showing the second problem with their answer, that the candidates are normally not really familiar what's going on in the international community, either in Thailand already, but definitely not in the international area. So what are the major problems why we also focus in the PhD education, why approximately 50% of the PhD students in the IT faculty fail, what we can do to reduce that number and increase the numbers of well-educated PhD which can graduate it. So the first thing is the language skills on both sides are still quite limited. We are both sides are non-native speakers of English language. My native language is German, you are speaking Thai, but definitely you have a little bit more problems to master the English language. The second problem, which is the reason why most PhD students fail, is that you cannot get the required international journal publication with Scopus or Easy Index. And when we are asking for the reasons why it's so, we come back to language problems, we come back to missing knowledge of related works in the international community, maybe also come back with a 2-week topic you are addressing with your articles. And the latter has its reason in a poor theoretical knowledge. That means most PhD students start working with me, are asked from me to read some textbooks on discrete mathematics first to get the basic knowledge in that theory, graph theory, probabilistic theory, that they are able to work with us. So we see that problems, I see that problems, Pajung and the other Ajahns from the IT faculty also see the problems. I told you already, we are working together since 2007. So what we agreed to do together now, how we can strengthen the PhD education by cooperation and specialization as we had done in our mutual work in the last few years. So the one thing is, of course, nobody can know everything. In the scientific area is a high competition all over the world. If we can be strong, then we can be strong only in a single field, and we have to focus our power in that single area. That means the PhD student must work in an area which is given to the faculty from them. We have to go away from the current situation where every PhD student suggests any topic he or she is interested in. And we must give you a frame topic in which you can work and in which you are able to collaborate with your colleagues and other students here in the faculty. So the second thing what we really figure out is the journal publications are so bad because you write it alone or with your supervisor only, who is much too overloaded to correct everything. You usually don't communicate with other students doing a similar topic or in the PhD study together with you. You don't do what normally science has been from its roots. You don't discuss with each other. You mostly even don't know what your other colleagues in your PhD course are doing. So by concentrating our work to a single topic, giving you topics which are related to each other, we hope we can overcome that. Also, of course, we have to set up the right tools for that, like managing publication together, doing a cooperative review of international lecture, and we know, of course, that scientific publications are difficult to read. If you can discuss it with somebody who do a similar work, it's make it easier. In order to make that process a little bit easier, we suggest an international supervision for you both. It's a binational program, so we will have, of course, a binational supervision consisting of a Thai and a German supervisor. We will later see a little bit more details about that. And, of course, we want you to act in an international area. That means we want you not all time come to Germany, but maybe for a conference, for a short-term visit, join an international research team. So about that possibilities, Georg will inform you at the end of this lecture, and he told already that we have that binational agreement increase our chances to obtain any money from the funding organizations. So that means we will change a little bit for the teamwork, the environments. You see what we have in mind, setting up wikis, using video conferences, modern communication possibilities to really give you the feeling you are working in a small world, in the village of a world. You are working together with international people. We want to bring you much closer to mutual discussion, and we want, of course, that you feel that you are in a competition, and how nice it is to be in a competition the first you know by yourself. So that means, last but not least, we don't want that you concentrate on getting a degree. We don't want you to do any job. What we want to do with all the news here, with the really nice things you can see in your work, we want to develop some true passion for your research work. We want the research work is the first thing in your life, and because you feel it's as important as your husband or wife, we want that you as strong are engaged for your scientific work as you do for other things in your life. So not everybody of you have listened some lectures of us, so let me give you a little bit, a little touch about Germany, a little bit touch about the partner you are going to deal with. So you see here Germany, some of you have been in Germany, may know Berlin, may know Hamburg, may know Munich, or transfer at least at Frankfurt Airport, which is currently the biggest airport in Germany. And the good news is Hagen is quite in the middle of everything, and you can reach from Hagen with a train in 3 or 4 hours all major cities in Germany which you may want to visit. If you look on the landscape, of course, Hagen may not be the most prettiest area because it's in an area of heavy industry, or in an area which have been before a heavy industry area. So unfortunately, like we proposed you the change here for the PhD program, also the area where the FernUniversität Hagen have been founded 40 years ago is an area of change. We have a nice landscape in behind the coal mining and heavy industry scenery with old castles and natural and artificial lakes, and more our area become an area for high-tech and, of course, education and tourism too. And that's the area where the FernUniversität has been founded 40 years ago. So anyhow, that picture moved to the wrong place. I have to go here. We'll come back to that picture later. So the FernUniversity campus 40 years ago and today is still a quite small one. Also, we are the biggest university in Germany with 90,000 students. The reason is that we are a clear distance learning university, and we don't see our students at the campus, but by video conference tools, by any electronic communication tools, and the students visit us only for examinations and labs work quite a year. That's why our campus for our four faculties looks so tiny. And normally the FernUniversity in Hagen is only a German-speaking university, and the only exception where English is a quite common language is in the area of PhD students, and that's where we want to work with you. And I think that we have the distance learning equipment available is a quite big plus for starting that binational PhD program with you, because a distance of 10,000 kilometers between Hagen and Bangkok will not play a role, and you are here in Thailand are so engaged in using mobile phones, mobile technology, the internet, that we are quite sure that you will enjoy in communicating with us, in working with us, and in feeling that the world is just a village. So, and maybe because of you, our Faculty of Mathematics and Computer Science, which is the second smallest at the FernUniversity in Hagen, will become a little bit bigger by having some international PhD students doing some work with us. And that was the point where that picture shall come on. That has been found in the Bangkok Post on December 9th. There was a little citation of Mr. Sushadvi, the president of King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lat Krabang, and the future chair of the Council of University Presidents of Thailand. And he mostly requires, especially for the PhD students, a change in the thinking, and said that Thai alumni are still not innovative enough to move the country's industry forward. And I think he said the university shall change, and I would say we are already in that process with our binational degree. We are doing here a change from which you can profit, and of course your country too. So I hope I could give you a little overview about the mission. Now we are going on with the paperwork, with the details on how to and what to do.
Thank you so much for this topic. Professor Woodle also gave us just like some general information about the binational PhD. For instance, if you are interested in this one, would like to be the binational PhD student, how to do it, how to work together. And the next one, Professor Haman also gave us the details. For instance, the binational PhD between KMUTNB and FernUniversität in Hagen.
Yeah, thank you. You see there in the parentheses, Cand EM, that is a title which I gave myself, which means I'm a candidate of becoming an emeritus. In 3.5 months I shall retire. And then life starts. Okay, wie geht das hier? Kommt man.
Just click on the on left lower corner.
Aye. No. It was
No,
back.
then it breaks.
You can use this one, or you can use this.
This. Okay. Most people in this world who have the title PhD don't know what it means. Here in the first line you see it's an abbreviation of Philosophiae Doctor, that is Latin. You know, Latin is the language of the Roman Empire 2000 years ago, and it means teacher of philosophy. And it's a traditional way to qualify, getting the degrees, a traditional way to qualify to become a lecturer in university. In Latin, you get the license to teach, licentia docendi. So how do you get this degree? You get it by passing an examination. And in many talks you hear that I got the PhD from so and so and so and so, and it is so prestigious, or it is not prestigious, whatever, but the quality of this degree doesn't depend on the name of your university. It depends on your examiners. So Harvard doesn't mean anything. That the examiners determine what the quality of the degree is. You often read about PhD programs. There's a wide range of such programs, and the range can be characterized by one extreme, that's a taught PhD. That means you don't write any thesis, you attend courses, you pass examinations, and finally you get this degree. And in the United States, for example, you find it not often, but in many places, even in places like Stanford. Then there are so-called structured programs where you have to write a thesis, but also attend courses and seminars and summer schools, and you have to do exams, and there is a fixed time, usually 3 years, when you are supposed to be ready, which is contradictory to real research, because in real research you never know how long it lasts. And then there, the other extreme is the solely research-based PhD, and that is what we have in Germany, classically, although there are now also structured programs. So our doctorate is research-based. For that, there are neither tuition fees nor any other costs. And there are also no restrictions relating to the research's duration. So it can last 5 or 6 weeks, but it also can last 1 year or 2. When you encounter deficiencies in your knowledge which you need for your research topic, then it is expected that you make up for those deficiencies yourself by self-study. What is also required is that the research results you produce at the end advance science in general, not in a country, or the science of the knowledge of mankind by a little epsilon. So it is not required that you have ideas like Einstein, but it has to be something new and a little advanced. And this, of course, bears the risk that you fail in the course of it, because some people are unable to think something what nobody has thought before. So this failing usually does not take place in the final examination. The failing people give up on the way towards the end. Traditionally in Germany, the research results are not published before the oral defense, published in the form of journal and conference contributions. This has changed now. People publish before, and also there are some professors who think that publishing means a kind of recognition, and so they don't have to decide themselves whether something is useful or not. The oral examination, or the examination comprises that you present your thesis and then you defend your thesis orally. Oral defense means that you are asked, that you give a presentation of your thesis and you are asked questions relating to your thesis and to your area of, to the area of the thesis a little bit around your thesis. In earlier times there was the so-called rigorosum, where you could be asked quite a lot of things on a very wide subject area. So in the end, a successful thesis is usually published in form of a book. So now we come to the binational PhD. So what is the value added by having a binational degree? Actually, I don't know. I don't know whether the quality is higher. At least there is more prestige. It could be also kind of a fashion. But I think from your point of view, the prestige is the added value. And for this prestige, actually, you don't have to pay. Pay in the, I don't mean with money, but you don't have to do extra work. You get it practically for the same effort. As you have heard by Professor Unger, we handle binational PhDs in Hagen in English. Although it would be better for you if you would learn German or any other further language, because this is a piece of education that it would enhance your skills, not only language skills but also your thinking skills. There are several ways of binational PhDs. So, for example, you could get 2 diplomas, that means 2 sheets of papers issued by 2 universities, or you could obtain 1 piece of paper issued by 1 diploma. No, I wrote it wrong. 1 piece of paper issued by both universities in common. This is an unusual procedure, and I heard that it obviously does not work with Thai universities, because your seal is not supposed to be on a sheet of paper where other people have their seal on. So the 2 independent degrees by 2 universities in 2 countries, they require an individual contract to be concluded between both universities for every candidate. That is a usual approach, and here for Sonanta we have done so. I have read several of such contracts, and I've seen they are rather long, full of overcomplicated and usually rather superfluous provisions. So when we had the first case in Hagen for such a binational PhD, I think I was the dean of our faculty and I had to deal with this. So I read those contracts and I extracted the essential aspects from several contracts, and I came up with a very short one, just fitting on one page. And in Sonanta's case, we also use this contract, and this contract gave rise now for an amendment to the cooperation agreement between your university here and FernUni in Hagen. And this amendment replaces individual contracts. And the final part of my talk is I will read you here the 9 provisions you have to do. So a candidate has to enroll as doctoral students at both universities according to the prevailing regulations. So indicating the intention to pursue a binational doctorate, the candidate has to pass the admission processes for doctoral programs as established by the pertaining faculties of both universities. In our case, it is rather simple. You have to have a master's degree of your universities here, university here. That is sufficient. So then, in the course of these admissions from both universities, one supervisor each is nominated and assigned to the candidate. The supervisors you have to find yourself. And the candidate's doctoral research work shall be conducted at both universities. Then the respective examination regulations of both universities, valid at the time of thesis submission, determine the admission to thesis defense and how the thesis defense is carried through. The next 2 points, the stipulation 6 and 7, they guarantee the reconcilability of both sides' examination regulations. As rapporteurs, both supervisors are members of the examination committee at FernUni. The candidate's thesis has to be orally defended both here and in Hagen. So that is the only thing you have to do extra, that you have to go through two defenses. So if the thesis has successfully been defended, the candidate is afforded here the Doctor of Philosophy, and in Hagen the Doctor Rerum Naturalium, which again is Latin and means Doctor of Natural Sciences. Then finally, the respective examination regulations of both universities determine the modalities of submitting and publishing the thesis in its final form. Okay, last slide. Here you find potential supervisors in Hagen. Here on top to the right, our standard of email addresses is first name, last name at fernuni-hagen.de. You can find us on our website, and professors who have indicated their interest in supervising PhD students from here are listed there. It is first our dean. He has a chair for software engineering. Then is myself, but in parentheses, because I'm going to retire. Retired professor still has the right to supervise PhD student, but I would be only inclined to do so if the thesis topic is really exciting. My areas of interest are real-time systems, safety-related security, and safety-related computing and IT security by design. Then there's Professor Keller with his specialities parallel processing, VLSI and IT security. Then Professor Lee, He is specialized in nonlinear dynamic systems, complex networks, and swarm intelligence, but also close to electrical engineering and electromagnetic compatibility. Professor Schiffmann's specialities are computer architectures, parallel systems, and cloud computing. And here Professor Unger's expertise is in communication networks and natural language processing. So, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for the talk from Professor Harman. He gave us just like how to achieve or how to list to the binational PhD. And the last one about the details in the agreement for more university and the influence of the supervisor in target aspect. The next one, if you are interested in this program, this is the most important part for you. How to apply for this program, presented by Associate Professor Dr. Pei Wilson.
Thank you, Dr. Sunanta, to introduce. And also would like to thank all the students, candidate students. Some of them master degree, and majority will be PhD in many programs that we probably candidate for this program too. First of all, I would like to introduce about our program a little bit in our faculty. In our faculty, we have several programs in PhD. We have Thai programs and international programs. In the Thai program, we have a regular program which is study in daytime. We call DIT class, which is cost about 40,000 baht per semester. We have also in Saturday and Sunday classes. We call special doctoral in IT. This is cost 10,000 per semester. So some of them here with us today too. And also we have international program in evening class that we call IDIT. So we have about 2 or 3 students in this group today also. Like Dr. Sunanta also in this program before. She also joined Binational degree and so received both degree from FernUni University and also from KMUTNB. The cost for international program is 75,000 baht. But you can see that actually in FernUni University there is no cost. So you can go, you can join without cost. You can study here. You don't have to go to FernUni, but you can just select your supervisor. And we have to select one supervisor from here to match him. In our faculty, as we know that we have to take written exam in order to get into the programs, one of the program. Also, the student have to propose the thesis proposal. We have to somehow like a draft thesis proposal and defense to the committee. Also, we need to have English proficiency in order to join PhD. So either with the Thai program or international program, you have to pass English in some level. Right. So some of you already know that. Which is, I think, the next years will be more difficult, but because the announcement from the Ministry of Thailand, Education of Thailand, that anyone would like to get to any degree in PhD level, they have to pass English. Let's say a TOEFL about 525 something like that for paper based. I think this generation, they can have many options to pass English. In our course, they still have to take 4 subjects. This is called core course, and have to pass at least 3.0, and then they can take a qualifying exam, which is different from FernUni University. In FernUni University, you don't have to take any courses, just research only. different. But anyway, you have to enroll as a student too. So within 2 years, the student has to take qualifying exam in our program. And then thesis exam will be the thesis proposal after the passing qualifying exam after 2 years. Then the student can do progressive defense after that. And then about 1 year they can defense for the final one. So we have some regulation of our university in order to get the degree. But in the meanwhile, we can work together with FernUni. And from time to time, they have to maybe go to do research in Germany, like a short period of time, like 3 months or 6 months. Depends on the fund that you have. Okay, in the final defense, about 1 year or 365 days, and they can take defense in our program. So it's mean about 36 credit of the thesis. They have to gain those credits, and they can defend. Okay, this is about roughly of the program in KMUTNB. Actually, not only IT program. It can be any program in our campus. Can join this binational degree. Okay, about the supervisors in our faculty, we have myself. I do in data mining, some like in computational intelligence, machine learning, data science, big data analysis, signal processing, business intelligence. Dr. Silapat Kumklong in network security, wireless network, cloud computing. Dr. Natvi is here. He's doing some knowledge management, information security management, logistics and supply chain management, and application in IT MAS. Dr. Tipiya in human computer interaction, knowledge sharing, factor analysis, and web technology. Dr. Mariraj is here too, in image processing, knowledge transfer, ontology, semantics, text mining, time series analysis. Dr. Muntian in factor analysis, knowledge management, ontology, applied information system, and computer education. Dr. Sakshai, he is here. This is right. CRM, enterprise resource planning, business information system, applied information system, and computer education. So anyone who work with him will be this area. We also have in software engineering, we have Dr. Nalin Pat, some software knowledge transfer too. Pompisit, Dr. Pompisit will be in web programming, mobile, wireless network, and database security. Dr. Namaporn also in computer network, wireless sensor network, vehicle ad hoc network, smart automotive, routing protocol, and social network analysis. Dr. Sunanta, she is here, peer-to-peer network, evolutionary computation, data mining, search engine optimization, recommender system, and information security. Dr. Mahasak in image processing, pattern recognition, artificial intelligence. And Dr. Pusudi will be data mining, text mining, AI, neural network, ontology, semantic web. And lastly, Dr. Susha will be in parallel computing, distributed computing, algorithms, cloud computing, and big data. So this is some of the professors that we have here, the lecturer that we have here. Actually, we have across university in computer science also, and also Dr. Wadini behind there in computer education also joined our group also. So actually, Dr. Wadini also in data mining, right? Data mining, data analysis, similar to me. Okay, here we have a strong cooperation, as you know, that in between FernUni and KMUTNB since 2007, so about 10 years, 9 to 10 years. So very strong cooperation. Not only me, but across our staff, like Sunanta, the others also. So we can see this is our building, merging with FernUni very nicely, compact together. So about 10 years in cooperation, I think we have spent about 20 million baht in volume. Some support by DAD, a lot of money from that, and also both universities also support these activities. So mostly we have some exchange of the scientists, like lecturers and students, some workshop together. So traditionally we have some participation on some workshop in Majorca, in Spain. A lot of our lecturers that have been there in that seminar. Some students also there also. So not only in under my name, because some other scientists can join also. In our faculty, I think a lot of them have been there already joined this group. But the last group we have in IT, we are quite strong in data mining or data science. In FernUni, they have some communication network, the centralized system, and also NLP. So now we try to work together in this group. Like we have the conference, international conference on computing and information technology. So we have 2 tracks for that conference. One is data mining, and the other one is network. So it can become data network. Put a strong one, but actually the other areas can join, can work. So now we kind of merge into focus on data networking at the beginning here. And we also plan to have some book together, which we hopefully can start soon, and then they can have some book together. Actually, about publication under my name and Hovik, about more than 15 papers so far. But maybe Sunanta or Tipaya, Manilat, I think they have more than this, but I don't know in that part. I have to count. Maybe more than 20, like Professor Halam and Sunanta and Tipaya and Manilat also. Silpat also have publication with this group also. So it's more than 20, I think. About maybe up to 30, I don't know. Okay, this is a long time ago. Some very young guy here. Very young, handsome man. This is Dr. Watini behind there. And Dr. Marirat. Dr. Tunanta. Dr. Saladel. Dr. Patravut. Dr. Panchari here also. So this Dr. Yok in College of Engineering, Industrial Engineering. Here also Dr. What is his name? Madhu Banatat. Yes. Here. Who is this guy? Yeah. Pongtanat. Yes. Pongtanat. Dr. Pongtanat. So these are when they were students at that time. They support summer school at that time for 3 weeks. So these students went to FernUni and to study very hard. You can see. Actually, I study I think from 8 to 6 o'clock in the evening, every day, very very hard. Yes. But this is very good beer. Nice Lord. 2008, yes. Okay. I think this guy from applied science. This guy from CS. Okay. Yeah, this is supported by DD in 2008. Okay, this is two young guys joining together in my office. So long cooperation, about 10 years we work together. Also, we have office of the point of contact in our faculty around the corner over there. So this is the permanent office of FernUni in Hagen as a point of contact. So any student that like international student, like Professor Herwig teaching now, they use this office to discuss the research. Also, some of you that working with this group also have chances to come to visit him very often. You can see from this floor, that's the sixth floor around the corner over there. Okay, that's a nice cooperation that we one of the spot. So Professor Munga will come very often, about half of the year will be here. Okay, that's my conclude of my talk.
Maybe I may extend. Just one thing, because we will later have the discussion about your question. As Ajahn Pajung said, quite easy to enroll in Hagen. It mostly needs four things. It needs a copy of your master degree. It needs 2 letters of the title, the German supervisor, and it needs the filled in this form. I give to the students, you can have a look on that while we go on with our program.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Liu Nisan. Right now, we have known the definition or the meaning of the binational PhD first, and we also know how to achieve this program. And as well, if we are interested in to be and would like to be the binational, we can still student how to do it. And the last one about the money, the scholarship. Dr. J.R. will tell us about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You have to work hard today.
Yeah, right. You already know my face now. That's good. Oh yeah, I could have brought that. Yes, well, scholarships always good. I was asked, just for the suspense of it, to keep you waiting, to very briefly say some words, because afterwards you don't listen after the money is already there. So I'll talk about DAAD first. Just because it's little known, I would like to reiterate that surprisingly, DAAD is the biggest academic exchange organization worldwide. So both by numbers and by budget, at least according to my latest news. So it's always, at least we're very sure that's among the 3 biggest, let's say. I think right now we are the biggest. Anyway, and it is a self-governed association of German universities. That's our legal speech. Probably nobody knows what that means. And I'll try to explain. It means that it's not the government taking direct influence and telling somebody, well, this university is going to be supported and this one not, blah, blah. But instead, it means that it's always German professors from our member universities taking the final decision. Of course, most of the money is coming from the government, from different ministries, Foreign Office, Education and Research, from the European Union, Development Cooperation, some private donations. It's a big mix. But in the end, the really important decisions are taken by German professors who are not even paid to do so. So, yeah. And, well, looking back at the last years, we've supported around 120,000 students and scholars in 2014. Yeah, so in 1 year alone, we have supported 120,000 students. And over the last years, I mean, we have been operating in Thailand alone for 60 years nearly. It has been a bit more than 2 million scholars supported. We have a big network of lecturers and of course of alumni, and we are running quite a number of offices. So for you the most important one is that you should know that DAD is not just an abstract concept, but that we really do exist, right? That's why I'm coming here. So you see, I'm a real person, and I really stay here in Bangkok, and if you have real questions, you can just ask them. And if you're too shy, you can just give us a call, and chances are good that you get one of my Thai colleagues, and you can even ask in Thai. So here at King Mongkut's, you have the additional benefit. You already also have a DAD lecturer. At King Mongkut's University, Alex Britzing, who is teaching in TGGS, but he also has information material from DAD and about our programs, so you can also try to grab him somewhere on the corridor. Okay, now we're coming to the interesting part. We have 4 different types of programs for PhD candidates, and well, I try to arrange them in, let's say, growing complexity. So the first one is the shortest, 2 months. It's a TRF, so that's Thai Research Fund and DAD supported project, and PPP means project-based personal mobility program, and we'll start with that one. So, in this mobility program, we support a group of researchers under a TRF-supported professor. So your professor in Thailand must be TRF-supported. I believe that's probably the most difficult part of it. And both parts, the Thai part and the German part, need to apply in their respective countries. So the Thai partner applies with TRF, the German partner applies with DAD, and if the project is funded, then the researchers can go to see each other in the other country, and they can also take doctoral candidates with them. So that's not something where you can apply directly, but it's good to know that the program is there. The second one is the so-called one-year grant. It's a rather short year, 7 to 10 months. And from any subject area, you can apply for a research stay at a German university or at a research institute. So you could also go to a Max Planck Institute or to the Leibniz Foundation or Helmholtz or one of the big research associations. The important thing is that this research stay should be a really fundamental, an essential part of your research project, and it should not just be training. Yeah, sometimes we have these applications where somebody says, yeah, you know, I want to have a look into analyzing this and that data, using this and that method, but I don't know the method yet. So I thought I would go to Germany and just get some training for 10 months, and then I return and I would apply that. And we said, yeah, that's highly appreciated if you want to do some training in Germany, but, well, we can't fund it, right? I mean, you're welcome to come for training, but you can't get a scholarship for that. So it's really a research scholarship, all of them. Yeah. There is also the possibility of training. Professor Unger touched on that very briefly. There is also this internship program called IASTE, and you can still make use of that even if you're already a PhD candidate. So if you say, well, I want to go if you're from the technical field, I mean all of you are, so you can use that program. If you know an institution and that institution could offer the training that you need, and you could convince them to take you on as an intern within that program, then you can apply for this internship program. Yeah, it is another one of those, well, good to know they are there, but it's not a research scholarship. So please don't apply for research if you just want to get some practical training for this and that. Okay, third one. So you see the flag there is getting longer. That's the full doctoral program in Germany. Well, obviously it's at a German university or research institute. You need supervision of a German professor. And in Germany it must be it cannot just be a PhD holder, but it must be a PhD holder who did that second step of qualification that we have in Germany, the Habilitation, which usually results in having either the title of a professor or of a Privatdozent, a PD. So it's not good enough to just have a doctor to create more doctors, right? So must have one degree higher. So if you want to teach master students, you must have a PhD. If you want to teach bachelors, you must have a master's. And if you want to, well, promote somebody to a PhD level, you must have this Habilitation. So usually you're a professor. So if you look for somebody, make sure you find a professor. Well, the project, once again, must be scientifically challenging. I have already told, and Professor Harlan also mentioned that you must advance knowledge. You must advance our scientific knowledge of the world, even if it's just a tiny bit, but there must be something new in it. So you cannot just apply a well-established method on a well-established field. So either you apply some well-established method on a completely new field, or you look at a well-known field but you invent a new method to look at it. But there must be something new in it. Well, lunchtime. No. Officially it's the binationally supervised doctoral degree. But that's too long, so in DAD everybody just says sandwich program. And the sandwich works just like the flags on the very right. Yeah. So the first slice of toast would be enrollment in Thailand. Then the salad and the cheese is the German research stay up to 2 years. And then you have the second slice of toast, which is the graduation at a Thai university. So usually this program results in our case, in a Thai degree. But there is no place in the regulation that says that you must not earn a second degree. Yeah, so you can make use of this program to gain 2 degrees or to gain a double degree. The important part from the DAD side is that you are enrolled in the Thai university when you start, that you take your degree at the Thai university in the end. And if you get an additional benefit of a German degree on top, then that's just the icing on the cake. Yeah? So that's probably the most attractive program for you if you decide to do your doctorate here and try to get this binational degree on top of it.
With which chances?
And chances are actually pretty good. I mean, we've both been on the committee, so you're not going to find that on the slices, and you're not going to get that in written. But We had quite a few applications from IT during the last 2 years, and this year it was just 2. Last year we had more, but as a general statement, I would say there is room for improvement. Which means if you come up with a very good proposal, with a good research project, I mean that is the key. If you have a good research project, then your chances are actually pretty good to get a scholarship. Yeah, we usually have something around 45 people or so who try to apply, and then in the end maybe 35 do hand in an application, and then 6, 7 or so of the applications are not complete. So if you come up with a complete application with a good research proposal, usually we have something like 6, 7 PhD scholarships over the last 10 years. And that means that you have actually quite a good quota. If you have 25 complete applications and 6 of them receive funding, that's actually pretty good in international comparison. Well, the small print. It's not printed any smaller than the rest, but of course you must be qualified for a PhD. Yeah, usually you should hold a master's degree. Well, you can read yourself. Master's degree must not be older than 6 years at the time of application. You must not have spent more than 3 years in the PhD project. Yeah, so if you're already in the project for 3 years and then you decide, well, no process, no advancement so far, but now maybe with German support I might finally finish. Nah, not going to work. And you should not have stayed more than 15 months in Germany when you apply. And the language proficiency, that's once again, just like we just heard for Thailand, we require you to speak and understand English. Yeah, so the absolute minimum, the bare minimum is IELTS 5.0. Usually we ask for 5.5 in most programs. You don't have to speak German. The official call every year will state that you are required to prove basic German at the time of application. And that will teach you the rest during the process, but it's not necessary, and actually it never happens. So the good scientists who apply usually don't speak German when they apply. And somewhere down the line, in the official call, you will find that it's possible to apply without German knowledge if your supervisor agrees to do the supervision in English. And that will usually be the case. Yeah, so you're not going to write your PhD thesis actually in German. Nobody expects that. So, true. I mean, we've had that. People have written their PhD thesis in German, but that's really the exception. So usually it's fine if you are fluent in English. And yeah, that's the small print. Now, how do we select candidates? The most important point really is the quality of the project. Yeah, if there is no science in the project, then you're out. When I go through the proposal, I need to find proper research questions. There must be a research gap. You should have methods, how you're going to analyze it. I mean, basic requirements for academic writing, I would say, but we experience that this is not self-evident. So it should be a proper research project. Is it new? Is it relevant? And is it feasible? So please don't try to save the world. Yeah, it's usually that doesn't work within 3 years. That takes a bit longer. So you should present a project that can actually be finished within our funding period. And there should be a good reason why you want to go to Germany. Yeah, so if you're just doing, I don't know, what can you do everywhere? Probably mathematics. Yeah, if you're just doing mathematics and you have the expert here and you can't explain why you need that special German expert, then we would ask you, yeah, but just stay here and do your work, right? So there must be something special that draws you to that expert in Germany where you want to do your PhD. Oh?
The Binational PhD.
Yeah, sure. And of course you must be qualified to do the work. So it's sometimes we have excellent proposals, but we find that the candidate who is trying to present that proposal has no idea of what the proposal is about. That does not really help. Yeah, so we need somebody who is able to do the research and not just sit there and hand in a good paper which was written by the supervisor or I don't know. In the end, the decision is taken by academic experts. So it's not me. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. Yeah. So that's always our policy. Okay. Now I've talked a lot about what you should do to run a chance to get a scholarship. Let's look at what DAD will do for you. There are no tuition fees. That has been mentioned a number of times. If you receive a scholarship, there will be a monthly stipend of about 1,000 euros. That's roughly 40,000 Thai baht. There is a travel allowance to go to Germany and back. We will cover your insurance. And even if you do your PhD in English, there will be a language course. So if you go to Germany for more than a year, DAD will provide a language course so that you learn at least some German, which will help you to get along. Should we have a first little session of questions? There seem to be some burning questions concerning this slide.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions? I mean, I could also present the last 2 slides and then we have the big question and answer session. Yeah? Okay, so give me a chance to do the last 2 slides. There is more to research in Germany than just the universities. So you can see there are all those associations, Helmholtz, Fraunhofer, Leibniz, and of course inside all the big companies there is lots of research going on. 2/3 of research and development is done in the industry, not in universities. So there are lots of chances to do research in cooperation with the industry, and that would be a very good way to start your career if you can manage to find a cooperation with industry and a university. And our little Easter egg for today, a big quiz. What do you need to be a super successful research company in Germany? What do you need? Which companies are the most successful in research in Germany? The solution is hidden on that slide. But what do those companies share? Böhringer Ingelheim, Bayer, Bosch, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen. You need a round logo. I don't know why. I mean, when I produced that slide, I realized that the biggest researchers all have round logos. King Monkroots has a round logo as well, so the chances are extremely good to do good research here. Finally, it's not just DAAD. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of my job to present the DAAD scholarships, and that's what I did. But there are also scholarships from all of those associations on that slide. I mean, it's super confusing, and that is exactly the purpose of this slide. There are too many options, but the good news is that you can find all these scholarships under this one internet address. So all of the options from DAAD, from Alexander von Humboldt, from Volkswagen, Evonik, Böhringer Ingelheim, DFG, Robert Bosch, Fritz Thyssen, KAVD und so weiter, all of them are at fundingguide.de. Yeah? funding-guide.de. That's really the one database where you find all those support options. So if you feel like, okay, this is a great deal, I might want to do research in Germany during my PhD project, then please make sure to go to fundingguide.de and carefully look where your project fits in the best. Yeah, lots of possibilities, and I can imagine that the IT faculty would have cross-cutting interests with all of those. Pretty much, all of those foundations. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out any of them. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Some contact details, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter. We have a website, email.
We will put all the slides on the web and the IT faculty.
Yeah. So please feel free to get in touch.
Thank you, Dr. Giro. Did you ask about the forecast of the major scholarship that can support us if we would like to study in Germany? And as well, he also gave us about the qualification of the scholarship candidate and some details. Right now, I guess that my student maybe they have some questions. You can, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Then we go to the last issue, the last section about the question and answering. Do you have any questions? Especially about the scholarship, because some noise when you tell them about the scholarship, maybe